Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. I'm not sitting still.
Not adulting. Having me on chokehold.
Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. And as you can tell, I am absolutely thrilled to have you on here. If you are brand new, please consider joining our beautiful family. Click on the subscribe button, it's absolutely free. If you are a returning viewer, subscriber, whatever you want to call yourself, thank you so much for giving me yet another chance to share a little bit of myself with you. First things first, house rules in here. We like, we comment, we subscribe, click on the bell notification, and do share with a friend. You never know who needs to hear exactly what it is that we'll be discussing on here. My glasses are foggy.
My glasses are foggy. My glasses are foggy. Guys, don't become adults. Don't become proper adults because you won't have any time to do anything. And the time that you do have, you're probably tired. So, not adulting, having me on a complete chokehold.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. So today I'll be getting into my labor and delivery story. It is almost 3 years overdue, but hey, I'm thinking there's someone who's pregnant right now, wherever, and they're sitting anxious in a corner wondering how it's gonna go about. So my son was born on the 24th of June 2020. Story dates back to then. So in my previous couple of videos, I went into my pregnancy journey, how I found out I was pregnant, a brief overview of how my pregnancy went, literally from trimester 1 to trimester 3, and the different hacks, the things that I feel like worked for me, and the stuff that I feel like contributed to making my labor and delivery go smoother. And today we're basically picking up from the D-Day. So this started at I'd say 5 a.m. on the 22nd of June. 23rd. My son's estimated date of delivery, the estimated due date was, I think, the 5th of July or the 1st. Somewhere around there. It was estimated that he'd be born somewhere around the 1st, but you know the maths with this. It could be 2 weeks earlier or 2 weeks later. It's not normally on that same exact date. It just helps with giving you a guideline based on obviously the information that you've provided with regards to your periods and whatnot, right? And I was gunning for that, you know, that at least gave me a little bit of time. So I took my maternity leave somewhere around the 20th of June. 20th. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. My dates might be messed up, but basically I took leave the week before my son was born, unknowing that he would be born in the coming week. So I remember my last day at work was on a Friday, and then obviously the next week, I think I spent the Monday, Tuesday, maybe the Wednesday as well, just being normal, waiting for him, you know, looking out for the kicks and whatnot. And just backtracking a week before that, there was a Saturday where right before I took my shower, went to the bathroom and I saw what looked like a really thick type of discharge, and Auntie Google said it's basically my mucus plug because the color was different. It wasn't white, and the thickness was also like the consistency. I was not used to that, so obviously it came from somewhere and I needed to know, Auntie, what's going on? And Auntie Google was like, no, that's your mucus plug. And obviously I confirmed with my doctor as well. They're like, that's your mucus plug. That's basically the first telling sign that some women get to confirm, just to show that, you know, your baby is actually on the way any minute now. It could be in a couple of days or like by a week top. So now the excitement piles up, and then the next week I'm just now obviously preparing everything. I set up his little cot. It's looking cute, it's looking lovely. Then the 23rd of June, I think I was now on week 38 if I'm not mistaken, and it was a morning. I had an appointment with the doctor that very morning, because once you pass, I think week 30, this thing is all foggy, but once you pass week 32, your visits go from monthly to, I think, bi-weekly. Then once you pass week 36, your visits now happen on a weekly basis. So from week 36, I had the doctor's visit, 37, the doctor's visit. Then that morning, was it 37 or 38? But anyway, that morning I was waking up for like a basic checkup, just so they check, you know, if there's any dilation happening, if your child has maybe dropped, if he has turned or anything like that, just to basically see, because now that the clock is ticking, we need to, you know, make sure we catch anything that happens on time. And obviously I was waking up in the morning for my doctor's visit. So as I get off the bed, right, feet off the bed to the ground, then you know how long a pregnant person takes to get up. Then as I propped my whole body up and I was now up straight, then there was a gush of water literally coming from nowhere. Okay, it's not nowhere, but coming from nowhere. There was this loud gush of water that went on the floor. Heaven. So I was waking up to go pee. So my first thought was,
did I just pee on myself?
And obviously now I woke my partner up to say,
Hey bro, I think I just peed on myself.
And this is a bit weird. And then my partner, you know, men, my partner props himself up. He has a look. And then he looks at me. And then he says, is anything painful? I'm like, no. Then he goes right back to his sleeping position, pulls the blankets, and goes back to sleep. Hey, then I went to the bathroom because obviously something is going on. But now the volume of what's coming out, since I'm now going to pee, then it confirmed that, okay, so that wasn't pee. Because also the color, the smell of what came out, it was definitely not pee. I mean, I know I drink a lot of water and it can sometimes dilute, but you're always able to tell when there's pee. But that wasn't pee because I just peed. So what was that thing that looked like pee, but it was not pee? Now I'm panicking.
What's going on?
Now look at the calendar. It is the 23rd, of course, and I'm on, I think, week 37, man. It could be 37 or 38. Maybe 38, but I remember I was now getting anxious about getting closer to week 40 without delivering my baby, and he was getting quite big. So, hey, then I pick up the phone, I call my grandmother. My grandmother is a professional midwife, is a professional nurse. Okay, she's retired now, but she's a professional nurse and was a midwife back in her day. Call my grandmother, and obviously I had been pounding on her for details on several things. I had about aches and oohs and ahs here and there. Throughout my pregnancy, I was literally bothering her every single day. So now it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm calling this old woman who is just trying to enjoy her retirement in peace. She's like, hello, how are you? What's going on? I'm like,
I think I just peed on myself.
And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like,
I was getting out of the bed, and what had happened is, as I was getting up, like as I was propping my body up, baby girl, stuff just came out.
It's still coming out. And the thing about your water breaking is that once it breaks, it's like a balloon filled with water and literally just pops on the one side and it keeps coming out until that balloon is emptied. So the water is still continuing to come out. Even as I'm speaking to her on the phone, like it's still coming out. And I'm scared to sit down. I'm just scared to do anything because what the hell is going on? I'm not in any pain. There's no pressure. There are no contractions. My baby's still kind of moving around. I can still feel him. But like, what is going on? Because in the movies, once the water breaks, the woman immediately starts going into just absolute mayhem and everything is just a disaster from that point on. But I'm here waiting and nothing is happening. And I continue getting ready anyway. I got a nentiki anyway. So I take my shower and obviously Babe now takes his shower as well. And now because there's this situation going on, now we kind of have to cancel whatever plans he had for his day. And because I normally went to these doctor's appointments all on my own because he would normally have to go to work during that time, I'd normally just go alone because it just makes things easier because he'll just be there waiting. And remember, it was COVID, so he wouldn't be allowed anywhere inside. Ready we go. And on the way there, like I'm wearing
You're pregnant.
So while I was doing my research and while I was shopping around, do let me know if you want a video of basically items you will need for postpartum recovery. That is another good one that just came up now. But as I was doing my research about things that I'm going to need, like for my labor, for my delivery, and especially for postpartum recovery, I had seen people that mentioned the bleeding that comes after birth, people that mentioned like basically the engorgement of your boobs, the fact that your nipples will crack, the fact that your skin will just be in absolute mayhem, and the fact that a lot of things may just go sideways. So of the things that I had got this pack of adult nappies because of the overwhelming bleeding that comes after childbirth, and I just thought, it's a bit more secure than obviously a pad, and that's what I got. And so on our way to the hospital, I opened my new pack of nappies and I put that on, and we went, and I took a couple of them in my bag as well. And just in case, whatever was gonna happen, I had packed my hospital bag as well as my baby's hospital bag in advance by then, and then basically plopped all of those in the car, and boom, we went to the hospital. As soon as we got there, because it's COVID, no one was allowed in, which was an absolute bummer because we are potentially about to welcome our son and he's not even allowed to be part of it. That was really heartbreaking for me because I needed him there, I wanted him there, and he also wanted to be there. But now here we are in a whole global panoramic, things are just sideways. No one was allowed, not even my aunt was allowed, and I had to basically carry all my stuff on my own. And when we packed, I had a bag for toiletries, I had a bag for clothes, I had the baby bag. Hey, when there was a lot going on, and someone helped me, part of the staff in the hospital helped me carry those, but obviously it was your responsibility to just make sure they don't get lost. Then okay, I'm basically registered in and signed in and all of that and assigned to my room over there, and there's a cute doctor nurse who has come in to check on me, and she did confirm that yes, my water has broken. But what was concerning to them was the fact that my contractions hadn't started, because normally those two they happen your water breaks, then boom, then your contractions start, or your contractions start and then your water breaks. And it was also interesting to find out that a lot of women's waters don't normally break before it's either broken in hospital or before way later in their labor journey. Then they sent me in, they kept on taking my vitals throughout the entire day, and as they were taking my vitals, that at some point during the day my high blood started to basically rise and go higher and higher. And they ran a couple of tests, and then they basically told me I had preeclampsia or something like that. And mind you, I had never had any complications throughout my pregnancy. My pregnancy was quite healthy, it was low risk, there was never any challenges or problems. Now on the last day, literally on the day when I need to meet my child, you're telling me it is becoming very stressful, very emotional, and also not having anyone there with you because they're not allowed, they're literally only on the phone. That also hurt quite a bit, but the show had to keep on moving, so they kept on running a couple of tests, and by then it is around, I'd say maybe 1 or 2, and they telling me that we actually need to keep an eye on this blood pressure because it's constantly rising, and your baby is also running out of fluid down there, and contractions have not started. So it means your body technically doesn't know that it needs to kick in the contractions so your baby can basically be pushed out, because the contractions, what they do is they basically help push the baby out. So now nothing is happening, your baby is sleeping, he's unaware that it's his time to shine, and your body is now going into distress basically because there's a lot of contradicting stuff that are happening to it. Now I'm getting stressed, I'm getting emotional, and I'm just praying so hard. But I cannot have such a healthy pregnancy only for problems to come up on the last day. I mean,
what is this?
Then obviously I'm also told to remain calm, eat as much as you can, keep your strength as high as it can, because you're gonna need it for your delivery of your baby. And then there's a doctor who came, and then he inserted this other device from the devil's hands himself. So this device, it basically goes in down there, and it opens your lady bits up so he can see the color of the water inside. It's basically to see if your baby hasn't basically pooped inside of there yet, if the water is still clear, and basically we still have a bit more time. And he checks that out and he's like, okay, your water is still clear, but my concern is that your body is not getting into labor, and as soon as the fluid runs out, then this might cause distress to your baby as well. And he says as soon as 3 o'clock hits and you are not in any labor of any sort, there are no contractions, you're not in pain, there's nothing happening, we're gonna have to transfer you to a hospital that deals with emergency C-sections, and you will such sort of emergencies where they deal with emergency health situations pertaining to pregnancies, and they might need to induce you, or in the event that it is an absolute emergency, then we might have to resort to an emergency C-section. Now, I don't know if I shared this, but my plan has always been to push my baby out of my hoo-ha.
He might break it, he might break your bum
in that process, but I wanted to push him out. So now my hopes of that are dwindling, going down and down and down, because if you're going to take me to C-section, then might as well just rip my whole body apart and take him out, Then obviously now I'm going into despair, and then 3 o'clock hits and nothing has happened, and now I'm being transferred to hospital number 2. Obviously cannot leave the hospitals down there because if they're not, we don't call them by name. And then transfer to hospital number 2, and then the whole check-in process starts again. And it's winter, it's now June 2023. June, it is winter, and it is flipping cold. By 4 o'clock, if you don't have warm socks on and 2 jackets, baby girl, you're late. Then now I'm signing in again. Obviously, the whole procedure of now being assigned to a room, getting comfortable, putting all your stuff there together just to get comfortable. And I'm basically left to my own devices throughout the entire evening. What they're doing is just obviously serving food, checking my vitals. At some point my blood pressure stabilized, but it was still a bit higher than they would have liked it to be. And there's a belly strap that they keep on your belly to basically take your baby's heartbeat to see if there's any changes, to see if your baby goes into any sort of distress that you're unable to feel. So that belt goes on your belly and it stays there for an hour at a time, and they're basically gonna keep that on you the whole entire time. And so to get out of that, sometimes I just ask to go for a walk and whatever. But before I was in actual labor, before I was in any pain, I didn't mind the belly. It's a bit uncomfortable, and you have to sit in the same position for an hour so you can take accurate readings. But yeah, then the evening goes on. I'll serve dinner at I think 7 o'clock, and the night goes on. And because now I'm excited, I was unable to sleep. I had to force myself to try and sleep because you don't know what's gonna happen, what's gonna go on. Midnight comes, and a nurse comes with a tray with medication on it. It's got a little copy, a little small cup like this, and in there is basically it's a white nyana solution in there, and on the tray is basically like just information packs showing what's going on. And then she says, with me here I have your induction medication. I believe your water broke almost 24 hours ago, and unfortunately we now have to start putting in measures to get your body to start responding to what's going on. Then she tells me, this is dosage number 1. We can go all the way up to 8 doses depending on how quickly your body responds to this. I'll be coming back every single hour to give you your additional dose until your body starts kicking in and responding and going into labor. She gives me the first dosage. I drink it. It's basically water mixed with that medication, whatever it is, induction medication. I don't know it by name. I'm not a doctor. Then I think it was 11 p.m. man when she gave me that. Then 11 p.m. comes and she gave me that, and then okay, I took the first dose. Midnight she came, she gave me the second dose. 1 o'clock came, she gave me the third dose, I believe. Then somewhere around 1:27,
it's about to go all the way down,
I started to feel a tingling something. Somewhere. I can't pinpoint where it was happening on my body, but somewhere on the diameter of everything, somewhere on the circumference, I started to feel something at around Boma 1:27, and I felt it.
And then got a hair. Could this be it?
But I don't know. I've never had a baby. I'm like, maybe, Then at around 1:45, then that feeling came again, but now I understand that. So now it's a lot more prominent than the first time. I was like, this is definitely happening. At 2 a.m., then the nurse came again with a dosage again. Then she asked me, how are you feeling? And by then, I'm already feeling that pinch. I'm already feeling the pinch. Satan. But it's the pinch of life. But by then, Hakisheba, it's like these things are happening at like 15 to 20 minute intervals. Like where it comes, then it goes. And then it comes 20 minutes later or 15 minutes later, then it goes. And then she says, okay, I'm going to give you this dosage. I think it was the third or so, or the fourth. I'm going to give you this dosage. It shows that your body is responding to medication. I'll be back to check on you in an hour. This was now 2 o'clock. Ne? Okay. And hi, from 2 o'clock, started to see Mother Mary,
I started to see actual flames.
Where they're now going from 15 minutes to maybe 13 minutes, and like the less time in between, it's like the more the pain is. So from 2 to 3, I'd say it continued at along the same pace, like around 13 minutes or 12 minutes or so, and it's busy shortening. By the time it gets to the top of the hour of 3 o'clock, it's now kind of happening, They're now like 10 minutes apart, and it is happening. And then she comes, she checks on me, checks my vitals. She says, okay, you're still 0 centimeters dilated, but now at least contractions have started. I won't be medicating you anymore. And then, okay, she goes and she minds her own business. Then 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I went from seeing Mother Mary to seeing Jesus himself in the flesh. and they're getting very, very hectic. I think they were about 7 minutes apart. I was recording them on my phone, but just that it's a phone I was using quite a while ago, and the irony is that the person who was causing me all that pain is the one who broke it. But anyway, now I'm studying. Now it goes from seeing Mary to seeing Jesus on his own in the flesh, the sun, the shining star. Then now they are about 7 minutes apart or so, and they continue along that for like the next hour or two, right? And then somewhere at around 4:30, I think I started seeing more than just Jesus on his own. Now I know they say no one has ever seen God, but I believe somewhere there, about 4:30 to 5, I must have had a conversation with God.
Because clearly you don't hate me so much. Why would you do this to me? What was the reason?
I mean, I know this was my birth plan, but what was the reason? Why are we doing this? Why? Now the contractions are like 5 minutes apart at most. They're like 5 minutes apart. Like it comes, it presses, and then it goes, and it goes. No, 5 minutes. Then it presses. 5 minutes later, then it goes. And when it goes, it like, Jesus Christ, like then it gives you about 5 minutes of breathing time. And just as you feel like you're breathing, just as you feel like you are. Because that pain doesn't just disappear and come back. Like it comes, and when it goes, it lingers away, it lingers back in. Like, then as you're trying to catch your breath, then it goes from 5 minutes to, now you can see this.
5 minutes is no longer the 5 minutes that's on our watch, because there is some sort of corruption in this 5 minutes. This 5 minutes is now wrong.
Now it goes from 5 minutes to, 4 minutes something, and like it's just magic, man. In as much as labor is painful, it's just so magic how it all happens. And then that was like around 4:30, then around 5 o'clock, and then by 6 o'clock I am calling
Father Abraham and his many sons.
I am calling all of them, saying, just come and take me. Clearly you don't want nice things for me. Just come and take me, please. Just take me, because surely you don't like me.
What is this? Which one is this one?
Baby, from 6 o'clock, I'm telling you. And there's this lady who keeps coming with that belly belt saying, come, let's take your measurements. I don't know how many times I told that lady to get lost. I cannot sit still for an hour. What do you mean sit for a whole hour? Sit still? Me? For an hour while I'm dying? Are you serious? So whenever she comes, I'm like, no, it feels better when I'm taking a walk. Then I'll just wobble around the whole yo. By 6, I was like, just come and take me. There's no need for all this pain. And obviously, this is all in a day's work for them. It's nothing new. It doesn't worry them. Labor and delivery, guys. By then, the pain is like, and the contractions by then are like 2 minutes apart. Like it comes, and as it's going, another one is coming. As it's going, Sizani. Then at 7 o'clock, there's that shift change that comes with medical workers or doctors or nurses, and the ones that were on night shift are now going. Now new people are coming, they don't know your name. Guys, just make it stop. Then the sign in, but obviously it's a lot shorter now because they just hand over your file, and then now someone comes, they just want to know you. Hi, Seno, how are you? Public healthcare workers. I still say bless them to this day because I fell into really warm hands, but Lena. And then the handover happens, and then by around 7:15, there's a new doctor who came and basically introduced himself. And he had some medical students from UP with him to say, okay, as you can see, this is Tsenolo. Her condition is that there's preeclampsia, and with the possibility of ABCD, she's now, however, since I think by then I was around, like the last person who checked my dilation had said I was around 6 centimeters dilated. Obviously, I had now lost track of the dilation because of the pain, but from around 3 a.m. I was around 1 centimeter, and at around 4 a.m. I was still on 1. Then at around 5, then I had jumped from 1, I think, to 4. And then at around 6:30 or so, then the last one who checked said I was on 6 centimeters. I could have butchered them, but that's the memory I have. Then the doctor comes and obviously checks my dilation, And then he looks at me, and now this makes me very afraid because everyone has basically been ignoring me besides checking your hoo-ha. They'll come and open down there as they wish to see, but when I have an tabalwen. And then he looks at me, and then he says, your baby's about to come. I'm like, yay! Because the last nurse had said, you've been on 6 centimeters for such a long time, you might give birth tomorrow. I was like,
tomorrow?
what the situation? What? Then he says, your baby's about to come. You are 9 centimeters dilated. I'm just going to fetch basically your birthing team, and they will prepare for the delivery of your son. This is somewhere around Voma past 7. And obviously now I feel relieved because I'm dying. I'm dying. Take him out, please. And then, okay, my nurse comes, and she comes with her team. And remember, it's COVID. No one is allowed to touch you. So she puts all her tools down, everything is prepared, is ready. But she's basically she was letting me know, this is how you're going to hold your legs up. And this is how you're going to breathe while you're pushing your baby basically down. You push him down and make sure you breathe as you do that. Don't hold your breath. Push from your belly. Don't push from your, don't do E as just screaming. Push down. If you feel the need to scream, do it, but make sure you're doing it as you are pushing. And you're going to hold your legs up. We're not allowed to touch you. Once your baby's out, that is when we can then intervene to basically assist with the delivery of the placenta. This video is taken really long. Okay, then she comes with it, and she comes with shiny tools, and now I'm afraid for my life. I'm like, whoa, those tools are very shiny. They're like, no, in the instance that your baby needs assistance to come out, we might need to snip or two or cut. This is just for emergencies only. Okay, fine, no problem. Then I think from around I'd say 7:35, might be wrong. Then that's when she was now telling me that, okay, on your next contraction, you will now begin to push. So as it hits, you push, because it helps to push your baby down. So the contraction came, and then took a deep breath in and pushed for my life. She was like, okay, great, wonderful. Then the next one is gonna come literally a few seconds after that. When it hits, you push. Then I pushed, and the baby's head came out, and the rest of his body literally just bloop, just blonked out onto the bed. And she was like, yeah, congratulations, it's a boy. And then I think it was around 7:43 in between, when the first push, and obviously the break in between, and the second push, and the baby coming out, the time that they wrote on there was 7:43, and baby boy was born. And the instant relief that comes after that, there it was. On the 24th of June, I welcomed my baby boy Asante into the world, and he was the most beautiful human being I have ever laid my eyes upon. And my baby was born with his middle fingers up, which was just crazy. Seeing the personality, seeing the direction his personality has taken, it's just so funny and laughable. But yeah, that's basically how my labor and delivery went in short. In the next video, I think I'll be going into basically what you'll need for postpartum recovery and how my postpartum journey went. And then we'll pick up from the part where your bundle of joy starts walking, talking, eating, and swearing at you, and all of those things. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. It was a very, very interesting one to share. Took me back quite a bit, but it's always such a joy sharing a little bit of myself with you. Please remember the house rules in here. We like, comment, subscribe, click on the bell notification, and share with a preggy somewhere. Share with a preggy near you. You never know who needs to hear what. Because I know when I was pregnant, this is the type of content I enjoy and consume. I just wanted to know first-hand experience what went down once those doors were closed. I hope I was able to help someone or shed some light in any shape, way, or form. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.